This is Camille. She's a Canadian who likes talking to strangers to understand human behavior. This is Irene. She's an American who majored in human behaviors in university. Together, they discuss the differences and similarities in their experiences and perspectives. This is my pen pal.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Today, we are going to talk about whether or not we think guys and girls can be friends. On the count of three, we'll shout yes or no, because I know my position and I know your position, so let's just do it. 1, 2, 3. Can guys and girls be friends? No. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think like this question is a topic of contention. I feel like it's split, but I also feel like more and more people are finding that guys and girls can't be friends. My biggest reasoning is just that eventually if you're really friends with someone, one person will be attracted to another, whether you know it or not. And if you're not the one who's attracted to that person, most likely he or she is attracted to you. And that's not, I guess that's a friendship, but eventually it either bubbles up, someone mentions something and the friendship is never the same, or they just harbor the secret love for you that just is not really a friendship. It's a secret crush. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I don't think guys and girls can be friends.
Okay, so I have to ask this. Are you saying that there's no relationship that you have with a heterosexual male that you are friends with?
No, I do have guy friends. But I guess the question is like, what do you consider friendship? Which I know this goes into something like deeper, but like I don't hang out with them on my own, really. Not anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't like talk to them regularly on the phone or text. Like there's nothing solo about it. Because I think that's when it becomes like murky waters.
And is it because you think they harbor secret feelings for you? Or like have they ever
it's
put
not
you in
because
a position
I
where
think
you feel...
it's because it's happened and I'm like, okay, got it. Yeah. And I just think that when guys and girls form any type of like friendly bond or whatever, there's chemistry and it's not, and I'm trying to think like if there are any examples of me having feelings for someone else, and there definitely were times where I did have like feelings for guy friends, and yeah, it happens, and I don't think it's a true friendship.
Yeah. Oh man, I have so many questions. Okay, I just want to set the record straight here. We're two heterosexual females, so our perspective is we're speaking specifically about heterosexual males and heterosexual females. I do feel as if guys and girls, or men and women, can be friends, and you know what, I'm not saying it's every single person. I do think it takes a special pair of people to come together, just like any other friendship. I just think that it's unique. But yes, I understand where you're coming from. I do have friends that have or who have expressed their undying love for me, or like tried to get in between me and my significant other, and at that point I ended the friendship. But I have male friends that I've been friends with for like over a decade, and like I'll hang out with them. Like we don't hang out regularly one-on-one, like they're in a relationship, I'm in a relationship, we'll go out as a group, but like I'm trying to think now if there's anyone that I would still hang out with one-on-one. There's maybe like one or two, and it's not weird.
And maybe the exception is that both people are in relationships. Like maybe that's throws like a layer of protection into it, even though maybe not. I don't think it does. I don't know. Does it?
I'm saying from experience, it does not. Like it really does not.
Right.
And I'm not gonna. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead. I mean, it's just proving my argument.
I was going to share a story. So I messaged someone on Instagram, like a person that I went to high school with, and like we had a little bit of a history, but like nothing that I considered substantial because it was in high school, and I'm 31 and I haven't talked to this guy in a long time. I saw in his Instagram story on my like old personal account that he is having a baby, and they were having like a baby shower, gender reveal. So I commented, I'm like, oh my God, congratulations. That's amazing. Like what a normal person would, because we've always been those types of friends, like that type of, we've always been in that type of platonic relationship. He responded by bringing up a past sexual-ish encounter that we had. And I just had to like unfollow him, and I was so taken from that. Like I don't think that being in a relationship adds an extra layer of protection there.
Right, so it proves my point that guys and girls can't be friends.
Okay. Let me dig deep here for some examples. Like I don't want to say that I'm an exception to the rule. I don't think that's a thing. I just feel like because I've been friends with these people for a long time, because there's always been like open dialogue, and maybe because they really know me, I don't know. Like I'm really trying to think about the qualities of this friendship, of the friendships that I have that have lasted for so long. There's never been any disrespect towards my relationship, if there ever was, because there has been. Like, I think that it goes both ways. I've X'd them out of my lives, but like I feel like that's just them being a shitty person. I don't think it's a tell as to whether or not men and women can be friends. I think we can, so long as we're respectful, just like in any other friendship.
My argument is, how do you know that this person doesn't like you and has not said anything? Which will maintain the friendship if that's the case. But then that's not really a friendship. It's just like, it's a crush. You know what I mean? Like, it's a friendship, but more on their end. And you're just maintaining what you're thinking is a friendship. Okay. And I feel like that's always the case, and that person doesn't know it. But if I were to be like...
Sorry, go on.
Well, I mean, just consider the friends that, like the guys that you're friends with. Like, they probably think, like, to you, you're like, they're respectful of my relationship. We hang out and it's normal. Like, I don't threatened at all. Like, to me, it's a friendship. And that's great. And you have a friendship. But on their side, how do you know that they're not, like, a smidge more? You know what I mean? Like, just a smidge more to turn it into a little bit more than a friendship. Like, I think it's always, like, the other person.
Okay, let me say this. I always put myself, and I guess you kind of need to know me to know this about me. I always put myself in a position where, like, openness is welcome. So, like, I was single for a very long time. There was plenty of opportunity for these people to come forward. You know what I mean? It's not like there's never not an option for them to tell me. Like, I'm pretty straightforward in that aspect, and I feel like I attract the same type of person.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm really thinking hard, like, of all the relationships that I have. And I just feel like because we've been friends for so long, because we've had the right conversations, like, and because we've even been in, like, questionable, I guess you could say, depending on who you're talking to, scenarios, like, it would have happened already, honestly. Like, and this is where I was saying, like, I need a little bit of perspective, because, like, sometimes you watch those rom-com movies, and there's a guy and a girl who are friends, and the guy's super into the girl, and he's not saying anything, but, like, she's not necessarily flirty, but she relies on him a lot, and, like, kind of calls him when, like, you should be calling your man. Like, that stuff to me is questionable, because in my opinion, if you're in a relationship, like, the person that you're in a relationship with is your best friend, and, like, if I have a problem with my man, I'm not going to run and tell another guy about it. Or even another girl. I'm going to talk to my man about it. So I feel like I feel like in those scenarios, those are like two ways. Like that's a two-way street. Like the girl is enabling it and the guy is like falling, obvious. Like he's into it, so he's going to go like go along with it, you know? So I feel like that's one perspective that I see sometimes when I see platonic relationships with guys and girls that usually end in one or the other like professing their undying love for the other one.
I think it dives deeper into the question of then what do you consider friendship then?
Exactly.
Because in that case, the friendship was very intimate. Like she was telling him deepest, darkest secrets. But then what are the friendships that you have with your guy friends that make you feel like we're at arm's distance length enough that I know they don't like me? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like, hey, happy birthday once a year, or, you know?
No, like we go to dinner as a group once a month. Well, obviously this was pre-COVID. In some cases, I do go for coffee with them, like one-on-one, and my significant other knows, their significant other knows, and we just have like honest conversations. Like I don't know, like I don't know if this is again like what you're saying, like how you define a friendship or what you think a friendship is or needs to be, but I just like this was happening like pretty much how I was living my life before I got into a relationship has not really changed that much after I got in the relationship. Other than, of course, I'm only sleeping with one person and I'm not like giving like that type of attention to other people. But I just really feel like it's the type of conversations that we have. It's just platonic. Like I don't know how else to describe it. I know I'm not like really doing any justice to my argument, but as a person who has a ton of guy friends and actually only really gained a lot of female friends, yourself included, last year, I just cannot understand why guys and girls can't be friends.
I think there's like different levels of intimacy when it comes to friendships that can answer this question, can guys and girls be friends, yes or no? So I personally think if it's the more from my own experience, the more one-on-one stuff that you do, the more you get into the danger zone. And honestly, it could be because I'm giving out a vibe. Like in my experience, and these were like platonic friends, knew I had a boyfriend and everything. And we would go out in groups and drink together. And maybe that's the downside, right? Like maybe you can be friends until alcohol is involved or something. But and it's not like there was any flirting going on. It's just everyone's friendly, everyone's laughing. And I think that's when people start to misinterpret things, or I can become super friendly and not realize that I'm maybe sending signals that like this guy is misinterpreting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the same thing has happened to me sober with strangers too. So it could just be like a vibe that I'm giving off that makes me feel like, okay, I think guys just think I like them when I talk to them or like when I'm friends with them or something like that. So maybe it comes down to like the depth of your friendship and a perception of vibes, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe. Like you do have a point for sure. I mean, it's that we're already treading in like in murky waters when you're saying things like, you know, I don't know if it's me, like, you know, putting the onus on yourself and like putting the almost like blame on yourself. It's just like, well, are you not allowed to get drunk with people? Like there's just like, and like, are you not allowed to touch someone's arm? But like to that comment, I will say I do not like I'm not going to go drinking one-on-one with one of my guy friends. And it's not because I think I'm going to make a move. And honestly, I don't even necessarily think that they would. I just don't want to put myself in a position that's going to compromise not just our friendship, my relationship, who I am as a person. Like, I just don't want there to be any form of miscommunication or confusion. And I think that's like, like if I'm being honest, like especially now that I am in a relationship, my interactions and hangouts with my male friends are sober. And, like, if we are going to grab a drink, it's a drink. Like, we're not going to, like, sit at a bar and, like, get loaded together.
Right.
Because I don't want them to do something stupid because, like, that's likely what's going to happen. I don't want them to do something stupid and regret it and think that, and, like, have me change my view of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And that goes for anybody, like, literally anybody, not just men.
Right. And I think when it comes to guys and girls, I think there's an exception. I think, especially with the drinking thing, because say you're in a group of friends and you just, if you're in a group of friends drinking and you vibe with the girl more and you just spend all night talking to her, then it's like, oh, she made a bestie all night. Like, that's cute. But if you're vibing with a guy because he's like, because everyone else is more lame or something like that, and you're just vibing with this personality, then it becomes, oh, they're going to fuck. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's a shitty perspective.
There's that stigma already there that works against you if you try to have even a guy friend. But I do think there's an exception to that. I think that if you flat out say to this person whom you may suspect has feelings for you or whatever, and say, listen, we have so much fun hanging out as a group, but, like, don't jeopardize anything by doing, you know, like, just kind of hinting at, don't ruin a good thing or else we can't hang out. Because, again, from my experience, that's kind of what happened, except I didn't have that chance to have that conversation
prior to,
other than just cutting him out. Yeah.
But
it, like, we have fun as a group. We don't drink one-on-one, but we had fun as a group, and it was such a fun, friendly, carefree group. And because, I mean, there was no profession of love or anything, but because there was a slight, what I think was a slight, like, mini insult on my relationship, that's when I was like, okay, the boundaries are up. Kind of like what you said, if there's going to be any disrespect to your relationship. So I feel like there's an exception where you can continue this friendship with friends whom you suspect have feelings for you if you just tell them, listen, we can't have this type of friendship if it goes beyond anything further, and I'm not going to say anything. So, you know what I mean? Like, hint, hint, don't say anything, don't ruin this. But even that is just, like, circling.
Yeah, because I would
circling
even take
the problem.
It one step. I don't know. I just feel like there's so many layers of complexity with human relationships that it's not so much of a black and white answer as we're trying to make it. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot that we're not considering potentially, or maybe that we don't even realize that we're not seeing, just because of our unique experiences, right? Like, I really do think that we can be friends.
I mean, so I guess we're split on this topic because to generalize it, which I feel like in this case to be safer, you can generalize it. And for me, generalizing it is saying guys and girls just can't be friends without getting into the nitty gritty, because I don't think anybody would get into that type of nitty-gritty with the person of the opposite sex to answer this question. So without going into those details, I think to be on the safer side, I don't think guys and girls can be friends in an intimate way where you're hanging out solo often or talking on the phone often. I think that type of friendship, that type of intimacy it's a danger zone.
And I think you can. I still think you can. Yeah, same thing. Without getting into, like, details and breaking it down, my answer is still yes. I just feel it's just been my experience that I'm able to have those relationships. And yeah, I just feel like we can be, because I'm friends with a lot of men. So
right.
Yeah. And it's not awkward.
So that's that's where we are. There's two different camps. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Let us know your experiences, and based off of that, whether or not you think that guys and girls can be friends or cannot be friends.
Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.